We've all heard it before. Back in my day, we had to do this, or your generation will never understand real struggle. Well, our generation has been labeled as lazy, narcissistic, and technology obsessed. But are we? I've discussed with some of my fellow Rutgers students the stereotypes that our generation goes through.
So some types of stereotypes that I've heard about our generation is that we're lazy, we are all rebels, that we do what we want to do and we don't care about the consequences, and that we are too dependent on technology.
People think of this generation, this next generation, as uninvolved, as unmotivated to do things, as stuck in their own worlds, not as able to communicate with others and kind of in their own bubbles.
Really brand oriented and focused on specific types of labels. People are really into trends, what's really cool at the time.
I don't think they're true because in today's modern world, there is technology and there is these aspects that make our lives easier. So if they're there, why would we not use them? Why would we make our lives more difficult?
Lots of young people who are more motivated than I was when I was younger. People who are working extra jobs, taking extra overloads in classes, all this extracurricular activity. So I think people are actually even more motivated, and the reason for that is because there are sort of fewer jobs out there for them, and so people have to work harder and hustle more to try to get the few jobs that are out there, and they're going into debt, so they're paying off debt, and so I think there's a lot of misconception about what student lives and what younger people's lives are actually about. They are really anxious and eager to learn about becoming professionals and getting jobs and being part of a world. And they care about things, I think, more than people give them credit for. Things like politics, gender. I mean, the rise in feminism online and offline, I think, is one of the most interesting things that are happening right now. I don't know if the stereotype about them being disconnected is true, because I see more and more kinds of people getting involved in social movements, in demonstrations, in politics.
It's, I guess, an easy excuse for the shortcomings of previous generations that are now put onto us to make up for some of their mistakes, and even make up for mistakes that we will make in the future.
When members of that generation, when they move into positions of authority and power, when they begin making their marks on things, and then the world will change based on that, and so people's perceptions will change later. But I don't even know if people's perceptions of Generation X have changed.
I think communicating with the older generations and showing them what we are capable of learning and what we have learned, and showing them how we are different from their views.
It doesn't really matter what other generations think of what we're doing or how we're doing it, as long as we feel that we're representing ourselves in the right light.
So it's hard to change people's perceptions, but the point is to almost not worry about the perceptions, and to just go forth and make the changes that you want to make.
While many think that the millennial generation embody these stereotypes, times may be changing as the Generation Yers look to reshape how the world views us. For RUTV, I'm Morgan Parrish.